Bank of America raising its minimum wage to $20 an hour by the year 2021. This, as a new report shows, many businesses hurt by states mandating wage hikes. So should the markets decide which companies do and which companies do not or cannot afford to do it? Joining us now, Point Bridge Capital founder and CEO Hal Lambert. Well, Hal, imagine that, a company deciding on its own that it's willing to raise its minimum wage to its employees. You go work at Bank of America, make minimum wage, pretty soon you'll be earning a $41,000 a year salary.
Imagine that, the free markets work. We don't need a socialist redistribution of wealth policy or scheme to raise the minimum wage to $15 around the country. All it does is hurt the employees it's trying to help, and it crushes small business. Small business employs about half the people in this country that are on minimum wage. And where does that money come from? Where do these politicians that are pushing this think the money comes from? The $15, it comes out of the owner's pocket. And they can't afford it. That many of them wouldn't even make a profit at that point. They'd have to either lay off employees, cut back hours, or completely shut down.
Hal, that message sounds pretty good to some. You know, Bernie Sanders is out there touting, and other Democrats running for president are touting it. And how do you tell them that that is not a good thing? I know you're making the case that ultimately that would not be healthy for these companies to be mandated to raise their minimum wage to employees.
Well, they've never signed the front of a paycheck. I mean, most of these politicians have been politicians their whole life, so they don't really understand the economics. But small businesses do. And when you make them raise that minimum wage, they are forced to lay people off because the profits that they were making disappear. They don't have any ability to raise prices to the consumers. And the economy is already working. If you look at what's happened over the last 2 years, wages at the lowest income level have been rising faster than at the highest income level. So that income gap is actually narrowing. It's actually working, and you know, there's other companies that have announced wage hikes. You've had Walmart announce it as well. Amazon has announced higher minimum wages, and so has Target. So it's working in the economy. You don't need the government to step in and do this. And look, I think one other thing we've got to talk about here at the low income level, you can't do this without looking at this border. I mean, you've got low income, low skilled workers coming across the border. They're competing with the other unskilled workers here in the United States. The high school kids, the kids that are graduating from high school that aren't going to go to college, that are getting their first jobs. They're trying to compete in the marketplace, and you have millions of people coming across the border that they're competing with. That's one of the reasons I think wages have stagnated at that low end until very recently. Over the last 20 years, they certainly have had a problem.
They have been coming up, and in this case, this is Bank of America raising its own minimum wage. And here's the statement they put out when doing so. They said, "We are raising our minimum wage because we believe that to best serve our customers and clients, we need the best team saying thank you, celebrating great work, and sharing our success further demonstrates our commitment to being a great place to work." So they're going to do this incrementally, and they have been doing it incrementally. This isn't brand new. Since 2010, they've increased their minimum wage by $4 an hour, Hal. And it was 2017 when they raised it to $15 an hour. Now they're going to incrementally, through 2021, raise it even more. So this is making it a pretty attractive place to work as well, Hal.
Oh, it's fantastic. And you know, it's amazing what a 3.7% unemployment rate will do. That gives leverage to workers finally. When you get that unemployment level down to where it is now and you have all these jobs being created in the economy, there's competition for labor. And labor finally has the ability to demand higher wages, and Bank of America is paying it. So it's a fantastic thing. That's the best way to create higher wages across the board, is to have low unemployment, to have great number of jobs created, to have a strong economy. That's how you create higher wages. A government coming in and stepping in and mandating wage levels is not going to work. It really just hurts everybody that it's trying to help.
Many like you make the case, roll back regulations, let these companies do their thing. If they thrive, they'll bring their employees along with them. Bank of America looks like it's doing that. In that case, the stock market has been thriving. Not the case today, Hal. 190-point sell-off. There seems to be growing concerns over global growth, possible new trade war with Europe. What's your take on what we're seeing in the markets, Hal? Final thoughts.
Well, we had, I think, 8 days in a row of up markets. So, you know, we're going to have a down day at some point, and we had one today. You look at the trade dispute that's going on right now with the EU. Look, President Trump's trying to, they've been in violation of the WTO. It's been ruled on. President Trump is simply coming out and saying we're going to have to take care of that with some tariffs, or they're going to have to fix it. So, you know, I don't understand, quite frankly, why it actually causes the U.S. stock market to drop when it actually would help the U.S. markets. So I think at the end of the day, you know, we've had a down day today. It's simply a matter of we've had a lot of up days, and I don't see it derailing anything on a longer-term basis.
Hal Lambert, great to have you on the program this afternoon. Appreciate it.
Thank you.